Hey, how is everyone doing? My name is Vernon, and I wanted to share with you guys some exciting news. Yes, today I received my second AWS certification. It is in Certified Advanced Networking, the specialty, right? And I wonder if I can turn this around. I guess I can't turn it around when I'm doing the video, but if you can, hope you can see this. Well, anyway, I hope you were seeing it. I'm not going to edit this video. Just went, but bottom line, I have two certifications. One I got in May, and that was for the AWS Certified Solutions Architect, the associate, and then the second one was for Advanced Networking Specialty. My background is in network infrastructure. I did operations for a number of years, and then I went into pre-sales. And so I love pre-sales because I like engaging with the customer and doing solutions, etc. But a few months back, I got laid off, and so I didn't necessarily want to go back into re-upping on my Cisco certs and those type of things. I think everybody by now has seen that the move is to the cloud, and so I started looking at AWS. I had actually started looking at AWS like 3 years back, and kind of got distracted, got involved in other things, and so I didn't do that then. So now I wanted to go ahead and get back into AWS. What's up, buddy?
We're having popcorn and mommy accidentally made too much, so do you want some?
Yes. All right. That's my son. We're having popcorn. So, bottom line, I went down that path. Now, the way that I did it is initially I was going to get my the foundations certification, right, for AWS, the cloud practitioner one, and I signed up for the exam. Was ready to take it. I had done the free Code Academy video that was on YouTube, and I checked in 30 minutes and I couldn't get everything going on my computer. I had a Mac and there were all these, for some reason, there were some issues with getting it done and I missed my time. I tried to get on hold of support and all that sort of stuff. But bottom line, I signed up for the test. I paid for the test and I missed the test. All my fault. I was upset. I was frustrated. And so because of that reason, instead of going and redoing it after I'd gone through the course, I felt a lot of this is foundational. I had known some of this stuff before, but I just wanted to kind of double down on it to make sure. And I felt like if I took the step 1, step 2, step 3, it would be better for me since this is kind of a new area. But after reading the content, after watching the videos and all that sort of stuff, I was like, let me just move on. I missed the test. Let me move on to associate. And because you don't have to have the prerequisite for the associate certification, I went straight into it. So about 4 weeks later, I took the exam and I passed it. Then after that, I was wondering, what should I do next? And I felt like the best thing to do was actually networking because I have a background in networking and I thought it was going to be a little bit easier because of that. I would say it is not. Networking goes into a lot of kind of hybrid connectivity, direct connect, connecting on-prem to the cloud. It goes into a lot of Route 53, DNS, elastic load balancers, and everything. It can get somewhat intricate, but it was very, very good course. Now, bottom line, this is not the reason I wanted to have this conversation. That was just the backdrop. The reason I wanted to have this conversation is because when I was looking it up, and I've heard this before, many years even before, where there are people who somewhat poo-poo on certifications. They make it seem like if a certification is just a piece of paper, it doesn't mean that you know anything. It's not really what real world is about, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not here to say that they're wrong. I'm just here to give you another perspective. And what I've come to realize sometimes in life is that two people can give you, or you can see many different ways, and there might be one way that works for you that might not work for somebody else. So I'm just going to give you my perspective, and maybe my perspective might work for you, and maybe my perspective might encourage you in what you're doing. So for me, I believe that a certification is very, very good to get. And this might really be something different from what you've heard. Is very good to get, especially if you're now getting into a new area. Now, why would I say that? You would be like, well, wouldn't you want to have more experience first before actually doing the certification? I'm not opposed to that. However, when you're getting into a new area and you're learning it, right? Wouldn't it be better if you had a curriculum that shared with you kind of step by step on the things that needed to learn? Wouldn't it be good if you could kind of get an outline and follow that outline so that it can expose you to the different things within that area, so that you can learn it? For me, it would. Like any time that you learn something that's new, you'll get on YouTube, you'll watch some videos, you'll get a book, you'll watch some videos, and sometimes you might watch and learn different ways. Video, whether it be a podcast, whether it be a book, and there might still be some disconnects. And so sometimes when you have a curriculum, it helps pull all that together and kind of give you a more cohesive and consistent path. That's the other thing, is that in learning, you want to be consistent. And if you know where the start is and where the end is, a certification can help you help provide those parameters in your learning path. And so for me, I felt that it was very good for me to move in the certification route. Now, it doesn't mean that I've had years of hands-on and that I know everything. I get that. And I think for most people, we get that. However, I think that one is a good reason why a certification is good. Number two, let me just be clear. I've worked in the industry for a long time, over 20 years now. And just because you are doing work in one aspect, thank you, babe, in one aspect of technology, let's just say in one aspect of a particular area, in networking, you might be exposed to switching and routing. It might not expose you to wireless. You might be exposed to wireless, but it might not expose you to firewalls and access lists and all the other things that go along with that. You might be in networking and not get exposed to VMs at a deep level, or databases at a deep level, right? So the idea that, well, if you're working, you get more experience, and that experience is worth more, and it gives you more knowledge, is not necessarily the case. What gives you more knowledge is you taking the initiative to consistently learn more. However you get that learning, right? Whether it's be through work or hands-on, whether it be through videos, whether it be through podcasts, whether it be through books, right? Whether it be through certifications, whether it be through, in-class learning or virtual learning, whatever. The fact that you are taking the initiative to learn is what's most important. And so for me, so I just wanted to say that the idea that you're just that somebody is working and therefore that possibly gives them more knowledge than you, that is not the case. That is not the case. And actually, to be quite honest, there's some who get into a company, to get into a role, and they basically sit in that role. They do that role, they do that thing. They like the company, they're happy to be there. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're growing technically, or they're growing in capacity or breadth when it comes to technical acumen. It does not mean that. So for me, the sort of certifications, what was good about it is that it exposed me to a lot of other things that on my own I might not have been exposed to. Right. So when I went through the solutions architect associate, for example, I mean, it went into whether it be DNS, Route 53, whether it went into CloudFront, right, and content delivery networks, whether it went into, Lambda, serverless, all of these different things it exposed you to, right? DynamoDB and different databases. It exposed you to those things. And that is what helps build up your book of knowledge. And that's what helps build you up so that when you get in front of a customer, and understand that many times when we're getting in front of customers now, the customers themselves are usually informed. And the customer is not just going to be asking you about it, especially if you are in pre-sales, they're not just going to be asking you about a specific thing. Hey, can you upgrade my firewall? Hey, can you upgrade my router? Can you do this particular configuration? Many times what you're doing is you are providing solutions, and those solutions are pretty diverse. They have many different pieces of technologies integrated, and that's what you're doing. And so to be able to be exposed to different technologies through learning in the certification, I think is extremely advantageous. And it's something that you should look at and take seriously. The other thing that I want to say is in studying for certification, especially like the AWS, you can get onto the console, you can do some hands-on, those type of things. But another part of the certification that helps you is because at the end of the day, you got to take a test. And because you have to take a test, you might think you know the information, but the test will really reveal to you the depth of if you really know that information or not, right? And so it actually heightens your energy when it comes to learning. It heightens your focus, right? Because you're not just reading and okay, this sounds good. I got an understanding of that. Yeah, that's cool. No, you got to know it because you're going to be tested on it. And so that type of motivation inspires you to really study at a different level to me. And so so that's number 3. Number 4, when you are studying, and I've shared this before with people who have asked for any certification, one of the pieces of the thing that you have to do after you read through, watch videos, do some hands-on, is that you need to practice questions. Usually that particular vendor will provide practice questions. Like I did some studying with Udemy. So there are a lot of courses where the Udemy instructors will provide to you sample questions. When it comes to AWS, there's a site called, I think it's called Tutorial Dojo or something like that. And I got some of those questions. I got some questions from a cloud guru. Any of those questions, when you start going through them, you go, well, yeah, I'm ready. I think I got this. And I started going through those questions, and I would do like 40 of those questions, and I would be getting like 60% correct. And I'm like, there's no, I need to, that then helped me realize, no, I actually have to do more studying. And then I realized that in studying the questions, it helped me do a better job of identifying what that question was asking, what was really pertinent to that question, or what was the main requirement of that question, and then understanding how to remove distractions in answers, quickly identify what is not correct, and so you can hone in on maybe those two answers that remain that are really similar. and then choose from, right? That the practice of doing that helps you as a solutions architect. It helps you as an engineer, because we understand that, again, like I said before, when you get a problem, it's not just like, well, hey, I have this problem, can you fix it? It's more like, hey, there's a problem, I don't know what it is, figure it out, and can you resolve it? And so in doing that, you have to find a way in which, with all the different information that's coming at you, being able to distill that information, separate, the wheat from chaff, understand what the real pertinent issue is, right? And the steps then to resolve that particular issue. You get a lot of that through going through questions and then having to answer those. So again, another reason why doing a certification or taking a certification route is also very advantageous, and how it can help you in the real world. And all those things can be overlaid back and be used and implemented in the real world scenarios. So the idea, again, that just getting a certification is just a piece of paper and it doesn't mean anything, from my perspective, I do not agree. From my perspective, I think it can be very helpful. It can be very advantageous, and it's something that I would encourage people to do, for sure. So again, I'm happy that I got my certification, my solutions architect associate. I got that back in May. And then I also got my advanced networking specialty. I got that today here in June. And I'm just grateful for the experience. I'll probably do another video that shares a little bit more about the actual test or the experience of moving from infrastructure or what I consider to be on-prem infrastructure into the cloud space. But I know for me, it's been exciting. I've really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot, and I really like the technology. So not sure exactly where you are on your particular journey, but I hope that this video was helpful to you, and I wish you all the best.